Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. This is Scott from Hidden Valley Homestead. If you guys hit that subscribe button, it would really help us out. If you guys ring that bell, you guys won't miss any of the videos that we're putting out. And we show you what we're doing for our urban homesteading, disaster preparedness, as we escape Commie-fornia for our dream property in Idaho. But I got a treat for you today. We're going to talk about fuel storage. In part of our series, disaster preparedness, I talked about generator, backup power, emergency power, and whatnot. I showed you guys in some of my past videos the fuel that I have stored. 25-30 gallons of gasoline, which I rotate on a regular basis so that the gas won't go bad. Every time I go fill up, I'll use one of my older cans and put some new fuel in there, because gasoline tends to last, they say, anywhere from 90 days up to 3 months to 6 months is about the most you want to leave fuel sitting in your can. So we have generators. We got that 4,000 watt generator right there, as well as a Honda that's hiding behind there with some gasoline ready to go. And I've got some more gasoline right there. But one thing that I don't have is diesel. Now, I did buy this diesel truck. I have an F350 diesel. And I love this truck. I love the power strokes. I love Fords, the way they look and everything. But I didn't have any diesel backup until now. Let me show you guys what I got. There it is, guys. Check this bad boy out. So, there's all the wiring for it. Yeah. I got a pump. I got the handle with the hose, and I got all this storage. 40 gallons. This is awesome. It's gonna go right there. So guys, one thing I didn't want to have to go do is buy a whole bunch more 5-gallon fuel cans and be storing diesel in my garage. I probably really shouldn't have that much gasoline in my garage. If I was ever to have a fire in there, that'd be a big, huge bomb that goes off, right? I really should separate those gas cans from each other so that if something were to happen, they wouldn't all catch fire at one time. I know I'm going to get a couple comments from you guys on that, but who doesn't store, a couple 5-gallon cans of gas in their garage? So I probably should store those outside somewhere, but I'll think about that. That'll be a subject for another time. But this was the answer. I've been looking for a fuel tank for my truck that a lot of guys have with a pump on it, as well as a toolbox. So this was the perfect answer. This is a 40-gallon tank with the toolbox on top, and it has the pump and everything ready to go. These things they start at $1,200 at a wholesale price. Most guys are paying $1,800 to $2,000. This one is flush with the top of the bed. It doesn't stick over the top of the bed rails, and it fits all the way up against the back of the cab. And I can put all my straps, and I can lock it. This thing is the perfect answer. I've been looking for one of these things. I just happened to go on Craigslist and I had a guy that was selling one. It's in perfect shape. The pump works. These things are expensive. I picked it up for 500 bucks, guys. Yeah, I scored. So I'm gonna put this thing in. I'll show you guys how I install it. It's only 4 bolts, and then I gotta wire the thing up. So I'll show you guys how we do that. So there's a spot right there where I want to probably put a little bit of tape around this just to give it a little extra reinforcement. This rubber housing is actually pretty thick, but I really don't want it to be running over this sharp edge. So I'm gonna wrap that with some electrical tape and put a piece of hose or something on that so that it has something a little more solid, so it doesn't get cut on that. And then And then right here, I'm going to put a zip tie right around this and secure it. And then I'll do the same thing a little bit further over. Put another zip tie right here. And I can access around that. And then right here is a drain plug. Now here's the drain plug right here. I'm going to cut a little slice in this thing. And I'm going to put the hose right, the wire harness right through that, through the slice in this. And that'll take it back up into the cab of the truck, and I can wire it into the truck. Take a piece of hose, piece of rubber hose. I cut it down one side, like that. I'm gonna wrap that around this cable, and then put some electrical tape on it, hold it in place. Okay, got one zip tie there. Got another big zip tie there, and got my rubber grommet, the wire going through, and I'm tucking that up in there. Okay guys, here's the part that a lot of people have had a hard time with. A lot of these Fords, there's a wire harness that's in here, and I was not able to find anything online. Actually, I take that back. I did find a couple of videos on how to find and locate the wire harness. In this particular truck, this is an 05 F350. The F250s and the F350s are almost the same, I think, as far as wire harnesses are concerned. And I don't remember what year they started putting the auxiliary switches in. I want to say it might have been with the 03 or 04 and the 6.0 liter power stroke engine, as well as the gasoline engine. I think they had the same auxiliary switches. But at least on this one, this is an 05 F350, and I'll show you how to locate those wires. And it was not it was not clear in any of the videos that I found exactly what was going on. So let me show you guys a couple things here. Okay, here's the auxiliary switches. I got 4 auxiliary switches. Now these things have power to them already. These are already wired in. As soon as I turn the key on, you'll notice the little LED light turn on. Okay, see? Can you guys see that little orange light? It's off, now it's back on. All right, now that's built in. Okay, see, I turned that the key on, and the orange LED shows. Now it's off. Now the LED light is on. That shows that there's power to these already in the dash and the wire harness. So let me pop the hood and show you guys the wire harness that goes through the firewall. The firewall is obviously the part between the cab and the engine. Let me show you this real quick, guys. Okay, guys, so this is the wire harness on an F350. We've got these 4 auxiliary wires. We've got a blue, a black, a white, and a red. These are all power wires, okay? These are all positive power wires. The black is not a ground, the white is not a power. These are all power wires. I already have one of these hooked up to my LED lights in my bumper. And I'll show you guys, but these are not connected to those auxiliary switches. Okay, that's important, guys. It's a very important detail that was not explained in any video that I saw. Getting this camera set up so you guys can see this is a little tricky, but here is the bottom panel. You're gonna pop this thing off. This panel just comes right off, okay? It just pops off. Now guys, we have to take off this fuse panel and pull it out. It's not hard. At first when I got those instructions to take this fuse panel out, I thought, oh crap, what a pain in the neck. But it's really pretty simple. These 4 bolts, 10 millimeter, and this thing will just kind of lay down. You surviving your quarantine?
My new holster came yesterday, so I'm pumped about that.
Your new holster? For what?
I got a steal on a drop weight holster for my blog on Amazon.
You got your CCW?
Nope.
Oh, so why do you have a holster?
Oh, I just wanted it.
Just wanted it so you can carry it around the house and look cool?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you get your CCW?
Because they're pretty much impossible to get.
No, they're not. Orange County, I have mine.
Really?
Been there, done that.
Oh, really?
I'm on my 3rd renewal. Easy. Orange County Sheriff, go drop off the information, give them a good reason why you need one, and there you go. It'll be 2 years.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize it was
Orange County, or LA County is hard to get. Yeah.
Oh man, we'll give that a go then.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We'll go out on shooting trips and stuff.
Right.
You know? Give that a shot.
Yeah, it's cool, especially with all the crap going on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay guys, I got the wire harness out. I've got the fuse panel hanging, okay? Now I'm gonna show you guys two things here.
This wire harness right here that goes into the back of this fuse panel, there are gonna be 4 wires sticking out. You're gonna have there are gonna be 4 orange wires. Now they're all gonna have a different color. One's gonna have a yellow stripe, a blue stripe. This one has a green stripe, and the other one is solid orange, okay? Now if you look in the instructions, these two, the solid orange and then the orange with the green stripe, are gonna be thicker wires. Those are gonna be 30 amp wires, 30 amp circuits. These other two are only 20 amp circuits. I could be backwards. Those could be 15s, I forget. Anyway, the skinnier wires are lower amperage. I'm gonna be using one of these big ones because that pump takes a little bit of amps. And I know that's for a fact that's a 30 amp fuse and a 30 amp circuit. Okay guys, so these are the wires that come into the back of the fuse panel. These are the ones that go directly to the auxiliary switches up there. Okay? So follow me guys. Those wires that came through the firewall are not connected to these wires right here. You guys can see those? These wires that go to the fuse panel are connected to the auxiliary switches. They are not connected to the wires that go through the firewall. Those are somewhere else. I'll show you those right now. And it's kind of hard to see. It's got a little rubber tip on there. All 4 of those wires have that. Now, right here is this wire harness. Okay, there guys. Now here's the wire. That black wire is hooked up to. Okay, so there's my white wire, there's my blue wire, and my red wire, and a black wire. Okay guys, these are the ones that go through the firewall. They're kind of hard to get to. Okay, thank you. So here is my wire from one of my auxiliary switches that I went to my firewall switch, or to my firewall wire. Okay, now you have to just look at the color code because there's some other wires that are sticking out through there, and there's some other wires right here that are sticking out. I don't know, let me see if I can focus that a little better for you guys, sorry. I don't know exactly where those other wires go, but there's the blue, the white, and the black. And like I said, I'm already using, which color am I using? I'm using the red wire. This is my black wire that goes to my auxiliary switch. It goes to my LED lights, okay? So guys, as you can see, if you want to use the auxiliary wires that come through the firewall in the engine bay for accessories like lights, horns, whatnot, you have to actually connect those wires on the inside under your dash to the auxiliary switch wires so that you can actually use the auxiliary switches that are located on the dash. They won't work if you just connect them right to those wires. They are not connected. So as I showed you guys, that was the trick that no one told me was about how they weren't connected. They said, oh yeah, you just got to locate the wires underneath the dash and then go right to the auxiliary wires. Well, nobody said you got to connect those first, so it took me a little while to figure that out. But I'm going to be hooking up my fuel tank directly to an auxiliary switch wire under the dash. So I'm not going to go through the firewall. I'm going to actually I have the wire coming through the floor right here. So here's my wire. One thing I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to test this. There's a ground right here that's bolted to the body. And I'm going to turn this sucker on and find out which one of these this one is. There we go. Okay guys, I'm putting this thing back in. I've got it hooked up to the power side. Now all I got to do is hook up the ground. So let's test this thing out. It was going to be this one right here, turning the key on. There's power. There's the LED. The LED turned on. So I have power. Now let's check it out. Alright, there's my switch. I've got power. There we go, guys. So, I leave this on. I go in here, turn it off. So guys, hopefully that was helpful to you guys that have the Ford Super Duty trucks and you have those auxiliary switches that are stock, that are wired into your dash. Show you guys how to take those wires apart and diagnose and find out where they're at, how to connect them up. That's one thing that I have hooked up to my auxiliary switch. I have my fuel pump now. I have LEDs on my bumper hooked up. I'm going to be putting my ham radio in this truck as well for emergency communications. I will also be putting in, what else am I going to put in here? I'm probably going to put a CB radio, but I'll have that on the same circuit as my ham radio. I'm also going to do a light bar at some point. So this is emergency. I actually found this actual tank online. This is going to be a fantastic upgrade to my truck for emergency backup fuel. It'll extend the range of my truck. This truck comes with a 32 gallon stock tank, and to add 45 more gallons on top of that, it's going to increase my range. Now at some point when I get to our place in Idaho and I have my tractor service that I'm going to be doing up there, I'm going to need an auxiliary fuel tank to be fueling up my my equipment. So this was a major score. I also looked up the pricing on this thing. The cheaper versions of this are around $1,200. This particular brand, just the tank itself is $1,200, and then the fuel pump with the hose and everything on top of that is going to be another $650. So this was an $1,850 tank, brand new, locking tank toolbox combo. I picked it up on Craigslist for $500, guys. It was a major score. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys learned something. Learn something about the wiring on your truck, and another Craigslist. I'm looking for deals all the time, guys. So I'll see you guys on the next video.